Hi there. Today I'm excited to show you how to build a Chrome extension that leverages the power of LLM to improve grammar and tone in your text. In this tutorial, we will break it down into two steps. First, we will set up the manifest file, which is essentially the backbone of any Chrome extension. This file defines how your extension behaves and interacts with the browser. Next, we will dive into an exciting part of integrating the LLM with the Chrome extension. Here, we will explore how to process user inputs seamlessly, ensuring their writing is polished and professional. By the end of this session, you will have a fully functional, intelligent Chrome extension ready to assist you with grammar and tone corrections. Let's dive in. Now, let's first understand the manifest.json. The key components to highlight here are we have something called the manifest version. We are using the version 3 here, the latest version B3 format and the associated feature set. Then we have the permissions. Here we define the host permission, which allow us to communicate with our local LLM service running at localhost IP and at port 11434. Then we have something called the background service worker. This is where the extension logic runs in the background. A background script in the Chrome extension acts as the main event handler, allowing it to monitor and respond to various browser events like navigating to a new page, closing a tab, or receiving message from other parts of the extension. Now, the most important thing, the content security policy. Here we define the security rules of how scripts and objects are loaded. In our case, we have given script src to self, which means only scripts from our extension can be executed. You cannot load external scripts from the internet. Now, this prevents security risks like cross-site scripting. We have also used object src is equal self, which controls whether your extension can load plugin based contents, example, flash, and embedded objects. Here, self means only the objects from your extension are loaded. Then finally we have the default action. This is where we set up the pop-up window of the extension and the icon to be used by the extension. This setup ready. Our extension is now recognized by the Chrome. Now let's implement the magic integrating with the LLM. Alright, now we will see how this extension integrates with the LLM running in our local machine. What we will do is we will download the code, we will run the code in our system, we will understand the basic part and start application or load the extension in Chrome. First thing I will do is I will go to the Git repository. I will provide a link to this Git repository in the description of the video. You don't have to worry. So first I will do is go to readme file and I will see is download and install Git. Now if you haven't already not downloaded and installed Git, you can click here. You can come here and you can download either for a Mac distribution, Windows distribution, or the Linux distribution. Once downloaded, you can verify by typing git command and it will give you like this. Next, we will go to the repository again. We will copy the first command where Git is already installed in our system. I will say copy this. I will navigate to where I need to have this. Alright, now let me enter this. And what it did is it is using Git and it downloaded a code in my system. Now where did it download? Let me open the folder. It downloaded a code inside this and this one, right? The code is downloaded in our system. Next, we will open this in our IDE. You can use either VS Code. In my case, I will use IntelliJ IDEA Community Edition. Let me open IntelliJ IDEA Community Edition. In Windows system, you can open it using the Start menu. In Mac, I will use Spotlight Search. If you have not already installed and you want to know how to install IntelliJ IDEA, you can refer to one of my previous videos. I will provide a link to that video in the description of this video. Let me open IntelliJ IDEA. And let me click on this open and I will navigate to the directory where I have this and I will go back to and this and I will say open. Now as this opens and it opened. We will go to the README again. We have the README here. I will click the README here. It will open this. And the next step I have to do is install Node. I will click here and it will take me to this website, which is the official website. Now, if you are using based on the operating system, you can download and install Node. If you are using Windows machine, click on this installer. Here installer will be there, or Mac machine installer will be there. Click here, download it and install it. Make sure Node is added to your path. Now, while installing Node, or let's say we have installed Node, while running this command, you might, if you want to check the version of the Node, the next step I have to do is I will see if npm is there or not. I will do npm version and it gives me this version, right? But in your system, in your Windows machine, if you get an error which says unrestricted or unauthorized access, you can run this security policy command. Next step is we have downloaded NodeJs, we have verified the npm version. Next we will do is npm install. I will go inside the directory, which is improve, enter. I will copy the command from here if I can. Yes, copy. I will do this. I will do enter. And what it does is it will install all the packages that we need, right? In our case, the main packages are LangChain, which will allow us to communicate with we will create a chain and communicate with our LLM, which is hosted locally. So once it installs, I have a node modules here, right? Once this is done, yeah, and we have this node module, right? So the next step is I will go to README again and I will run this command. What it does is it creates the distribution, right, which we can again load to the Chrome and run this extension. So I will do this, I will do enter, and it will create a distribution or a package, right, which I can run or load in the Chrome extension. I did this, right, and it generated a distribution folder, right? Next step is I will go to Chrome. I will come to Chrome. I will open extensions. How do I open extensions? I will go to left top right corner, click on these three dots. I will say extensions, manage extensions. I will come here, right? And you have to be sure that you have enabled this developer mode. Click on here and say developer mode on. Now load this package. I will navigate to the directory where I have generated the distribution, right? It is inside our code, the distribution folder. I will say select and it is loaded, right? Our extension is loaded here. Now how do I use this? Very simple, right? I will say here, I will say hi. How are you today? Let's say I'm trying to write an email which is very unprofessional. The wordings here, I will say make it professional. I will say the tone to professional, the text type to email, and I will use the model as Llama 3.1. Now how do I know this Llama 3.1 is there in my system, right? This is where you have to do the other step which is mentioned in my README, right? First you have to install Ollama. You have to pull the images. If you don't know how to install Ollama and pull the images, check one of my previous tutorials. I will provide a link in the description. Ollama list. Okay, let me start Ollama server. Ollama serve, and it started Ollama server. Let me open a new tab. In your case, a new command prompt or a new PowerShell window. Then you can say Ollama list. And I have two models here, right? One is Llama 3.1 and DeepSeek R1. So I will say Llama 3.1. I will say improve. Now it will, yes. So now we got an error, right? That it says you cannot execute this. Now this is the most important thing that you have to take care of. First, if you are using a Windows machine, let me copy this, right? And open my Node. If you're using a Windows machine, first thing you have to do is create an environment variable. The key of the environment variable will be this, and the value will be this. What it does is only this part, okay? Only this till here. What it does is it allows by default the Chrome extensions are not allowed to communicate with your Ollama local Ollama server. But once you give this, it allows the CORS policies, right? And then you can start communicating with our local machine. So in my case, that is for a Windows system, right? But in my case, in Mac machine, what I can do is I will copy this command. I will start the Ollama server in that way. So instead of doing simply Ollama server, I will say now this. Yeah. And then I will go to extension again. I will go back here. Where is my extension? Here. I will say, hi, how are you today? Then I will say professional email and a model will be Llama 3.1 again. Now let's run this again. And here you go. And you can use this icon to copy it, and we can paste it anywhere, right? Let me paste it here, and we can paste it anywhere, right? So this is how we have created our extension. Now let's try to understand the code a little bit, right? And the main part here is we have to start with popup.html. Now this popup.html is used to design this page, right? This pop-up of the extension. Now in this popup.html, the main components that we have is, one is this input text, then we have this tone, then we have this text type and a model name, right? The next thing we need, this popup.html will call popup.js or popup.ts. Once it is packaged, it becomes a popup.ts, right? In popup.js. Now we will open the popup.ts. In this ts, the main function is submit button, right? On submit, we have registered element handler where we say on click, do these actions, right? Means get the text from the DOM element, means the DOM element value, get the model, get the tone, and get the text type. Now we will display a loader, like loader. Then we will display if there are any errors. If there are no errors, then we will simply come here and say call this function, right? Get corrected text. Now get corrected text, what it does is it will use the cron runtime library to invoke the default send message. Now send message, what it does is it sends a message from one page to another. So here, or let's say one script to another, we will use the send message. We will pass the data that we need to send, and this send will register a callback, right? And this callback will either return a rejected promise or a resolved promise. The rejected promise will either be the errors, and the resolved promise will be the data which is returned from the LLM. So first we will do send message. Since there is a send message, someone has to be there, right, which will respond to this message. This is where we have this background script. Now here we have on message. Send message is done. We gave it the action to correct text. Then we will see if the action is corrected text. If it is correct text, then we will invoke this handle correct text, right, where we will get all of this data that we are passing from here, right? We got this data. If there are no model defined, then we will return the error, right? We will return the error, means the error promise. Or if the model is there, then we will create a chain using LangChain. Here first we will define the model, then we will define some prompts, which is defined here, which is like you are an expert AI assistant which helps us improve grammar and this that, right? Then we will tell that from the human prompt we will say please correct the following text and make it sound this tone, right? Then we will create, once we created a prompt, then we will create a chain, LangChain chain, and once it gets and this function returns the chain. Once we have the chain, we will invoke, right? We will invoke with the text type, the tone, and the text, and this will have the result. Once we have the result, we will return the corrected text, right? Once we have the correct text, means it is resolved, and we will return the resolved promise with the correct text. And finally this guy, where the get corrected text will come here. Where did I call here? Come here. Then we will display as a markdown. Then we will display in our this part, right? In this part. And finally we will remove that loader, and we are done, right? This is how this whole thing works, right? It's pretty easy to set up. If you ever get stuck with anything, just feel free to comment in the video and let me know. I'll be very ready to help you. Yeah. So The last part is here. So that's it, right? We have built a Chrome extension powered by LLM. You can further extend this setup, right? Maybe you can integrate summarization, translation to this setup, right? Yeah. So if you found this tutorial helpful, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know in the comments if you like more tutorial like this. Let me know if you encountered any error. I'll be ready to help you. Yeah. So see you in the next video. Until then, happy coding. Thank you.